Good afternoon. Let's begin with a section B question in your APM exam kit. This question is Morlich Company. Now, see, I in every other subject, I often tell you कि read the requirement first and then read the exhibits. But APM में ना, when you read the requirement first, most of the times it is not adequate enough to tell you कि what is the examiner expecting out of you. जैसे if you come here, क्या लिखा है? Respond to the CEO of Morlich's request for work on the following areas: benchmarking exercise and current process. But what is the request? That part is not really given here, right? So the exact request of the CEO will be found in the exhibit. Okay. Now, Morlich PLC is a retailer based in Teeland. The company offers a complete optical care service, including eye test and prescription and supply of contact lenses, spectacles, and optical aids. All prescribed items are ordered by Morlich from supplying companies. Morlich's main objective is the maximization of shareholder returns through providing an excellent service which is renowned for being the best in its field and supplying goods of perfect quality. ठीक है, मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है of the company? Main objective: maximization of shareholder returns and by providing excellent service by becoming best in the field. Morlik has several shops throughout Teeland and all the shops operate to the same processes and measures. मतलब standardization है वहां पर. The industry Morlik operates in is increasingly competitive, where brand strength is becoming an important critical success factor. And customer satisfaction is seen as key. Other companies are increasing their advertising spend to enhance their brand strength and also keen to maximize their intellectual capital by employing knowledgeable employees because such employees are seen as key in enhancing and developing brand strength. ठीक है, let's see. Uh, what is happening in the industry right now? It is a competitive industry, and brand strength has become a CSF, critical success factor. Customer satisfaction is super important. Other companies are increasing their advertising spend to enhance their brand strength. Everybody wants to enhance their brand strength. The advertising expenditure is on the upswing and are also keen to maximize their intellectual capacity by employing knowledgeable employees because such employees are seen as key in enhancing and developing brand strength. Now, let's see what is the benchmarking exercise. The chief executive officer of Morlik has been concerned recently about the decline in Morlik's operating margin. She asked Morlik's management accountant to undertake a benchmarking exercise to try to ascertain if this is an industry-wide issue. Just give me one moment, guys. एक moment. Yes, I switched on the recording. I had missed that. Just give me one moment. I'm pasting the appendix also. वो मेरा paste करना रह गया था. Is that what you were going to say, Parth? Or was it about the recording? Good, good that you reminded me. See, पूछा क्या है? When you read the second exhibit, you do realize that the expectation in the question is given in this paragraph. First of all, what you have to do is you have to complete certain calculations that are given here. And then you have to make a comment, evaluate whether these measures are appropriate and sufficient. ठीक है? एंड ये जो करंट प्रोसेस है, दिस इज एग्जिबिट 3. दिस इज द सेकंड रिक्वायरमेंट. तो पहले उसको नहीं देखते हैं. फर्स्ट हैव अ लुक एट दिस. What all have they asked you to calculate? Operating profit margin. How do you calculate operating profit margin? Operating profit upon sales into 100. Correct? So 0.8 upon 8.4, 6.04 upon 21.84. This is Morlik, this is Shiel. ठीक है. Then customer satisfaction. 50% and here it is unknown. So what impact do you think could that have? If, I mean, right now you have no means to evaluate whether it is correct or not. ठीक, मतलब दिया ही नहीं है कुछ तो there is no way, you can make a comment on that. Maybe there is some data given elsewhere that we'll have to check. Yes, Ishan?
Yes, I was saying the same that the data was not available with us.
Yes. Then product knowledge training spend per employee. Training spent on product knowledge is given to you. Number of employees is given to you. 0.5 million is how much? 5 lakhs basically. And यहाँ पे 2 million मतलब 20 lakhs. How many employees in this company? 480. How many employees in this company? 950. Product knowledge spending per employee 0.1041.67 to 105.26. So what is this? This basically is giving me an idea on the third performance measure for benchmarking and revenue per employee. ठीक है, you have total revenue 8.4 million, 21.84 million. ठीक है, so denominator is number of employees, revenue per employee higher in the second company, which is the benchmark for your industry. So for every perform, the total marks allocated here are 12 marks. Okay. For every performance measure, there is one mark that you have that you will get. ठीक है, ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट मार्जिन का एक, प्रोडक्ट नॉलेज स्पेंड पर एम्प्लॉय का एक, रेवेन्यू पर एम्प्लॉय का एक. ठीक है, ये कैलकुलेट नहीं कर, कस्टमर सेटिस्फैक्शन फॉर वन कंपनी इज गिवन टू यू, फॉर द अदर कंपनी इज नॉट नोन. ठीक है, सो दिस इज द फर्स्ट पार्ट where we are discussing the operating profit margin. ठीक है, then we'll also see what has been the growth in the margin. I mean, has the operating profit margin fallen down? Has it grown? Or do you have any indicators about that? Then customer satisfaction, not possible to compare due to lack of data. Product knowledge training spent per employee, that we have calculated. Revenue per employee also we have calculated. ठीक है, so फॉर ईच मेजर अगर आप सही से उसको कैलकुलेट करते हो, सो यू गेट 1 मार्क ईच. ठीक है, नाउ द नेक्स्ट पार्ट इज यू हैव टू कॉमेंट ऑन whether it is you basically have to comment on whether these measures that you have used for assessing and evaluating performance, are these measures sufficient and appropriate for this type of industry. सबसे पहले what is the nature of your business, वो एक बार आप समझो. It is a retailer based in Thailand. ठीक है, retailer company offers complete optical care service including eye test and prescription and supply of contact lenses, spectacles and optical aids. So this is slightly a technical job, right? लोगों का नंबर निकालना, suggesting them what contact lenses to use and all of that. तो giving them information on all of this is a technical job. Operating prof and so पहले इंडस्ट्री समझो कि आप किस इंडस्ट्री में काम कर रहे हो. ठीक है, नाउ यहाँ पे देर आर 4 measures that they are basically looking at. ठीक है, and what all have they asked you? They have asked you such calculate the suggested measures, evaluate whether these measures are sufficient and appropriate for this industry. If they are not enough, you might have to don't कीप दैट एज योर ऑब्जेक्टिव कि यार मैं मेजर सजेस्ट करूंगा. आपको बोला है किसी ने मेजर सजेस्ट करने को नहीं. सो इफ दे हैव नॉट आस्क्ड यू देन डोंट नेसेसरीली स्पीक अबाउट इट. ठीक है, पहले देखते हैं. द फर्स्ट मेजर दैट इज यूज्ड इज ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट मार्जिन ग्रोथ. क्या पूछा है? नॉट जस्ट ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट मार्जिन, दे हैव आस्क्ड यू ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट मार्जिन ग्रोथ. लास्ट ईयर 12% था, करंट ईयर 16% है. ठीक है, सॉरी, लास्ट ईयर 12% था मॉर्लिक का, शील का 16% है. करंट ईयर में मॉर्लिक का कितना आएगा? ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट है 0.8, रेवेन्यू है 8.4. ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट है 6.04, रेवेन्यू है 21.84. ठीक है, सो 0.80 अपॉन 8.4 इन परसेंटेज टर्म्स हाउ मच इज इट? 9.52. यहाँ पे कितना है? 6.04 डिवाइडेड बाय 21.84, 27.66. So do you agree कि Morlich company में operating profit margin has declined, whereas in Shield company the operating profit margin has increased. ठीक है, now operating profit margin growth is not margin, growth in the margin. It is worth measuring. Why? Because it gives an indication of overall cost control. If the operating profit margin has improved, that means the company has been able to control all these fixed costs or indirect costs. They have not really grown in proportion with revenue. The focus on growth is also good because it will help the management understand the extent of how revenue has grown and how cost has moved. ठीक है, मॉर्लिक के केस में देर इज अ वेरी there's a sharp decline. 12 point something से 9.5% हो गया है. So there has been a decline, which basically is an indicator of the fact that cost control has not happened in this company, right? So that could be your interpretation of this. Now, customer satisfaction in this industry, because it is service, but not just any service, technical service है यहाँ पे, right? You are like, if you don't get the contact lenses का number right, or if it doesn't suit the customer, naturally, the customer will say something which, you know, the customer will say something and he might post a review online, and that might really impact your brand. So, customer satisfaction is a key measure. Do you agree?
Yes.
अब Morlik does not have information about Shield in this area. बाकी के items तो you can calculate from the financial statements also. Now, Morlik के केस में what is the customer का rating? Customer का rating is 50%. I don't think it's a very high rating that Morlik has, right? It is not clear how the measure, एक तो you don't know how it is getting calculated, है ना? And यहाँ पे they have mentioned one more thing in the beginning, that all the companies are striving to create that brand name, right? Everyone is spending an increasingly higher amount uh, in advertising, है ना? Everyone is spending an increasingly higher amount in advertising, and everybody wants to strengthen the brand. In that situation, 50% का customer satisfaction does not seem good. Morlik should be aware of, what do the customers want, how to improve their satisfaction score, right? Yes, Ishan.
Also, there is a competitive market, so 50% is not a appropriate measure. I mean, the score.
Right. It's not enough in an industry which is highly competitive and where brand strength is clearly becoming more and more important. This doesn't seem to fit in well. I agree. ठीक है. So second point should be, see, पूछा क्या है आपको? Always understand what is the expectation. They are asking you, evaluate whether these measures are appropriate and sufficient. Are they enough and are they correct? Sufficient means, are these four measures enough for evaluating the performance or for completing the benchmarking exercise? ये second part of the question है. पहले पूछा है are these measures appropriate, तो ये चार measures के appropriateness पे पहले बात करो. Then speak about, are these measures enough for this particular industry or you need more measures. So they haven't asked this question to you directly कि यार suggest more measures of you know to complete the benchmarking exercise. थोड़ा घुमा के क्वेश्चन को पूछा है. व्हाट हैव दे आस्क्ड यू? आर दीज मेजर्स इनफ, या फिर सफिशिएंट मतलब आर दीज मेजर्स इनफ और यू नीड मोर. ठीक है. तीसरा है प्रोडक्ट नॉलेज ट्रेनिंग स्पेंड पर एम्प्लॉय. It's a good measure. See, because in this industry, as we discussed, it is a technical industry. So, they should know what kind of material suits which kind of an employee. They should also know what can the employees, sorry, which particular customer requires which kind of material in contact lenses, how to get the number, how to make sure that you are calculating and estimating the lenses का number correctly. तो इस सब में technical knowledge is required, and for that training of employees will be critical, है ना? So this and product knowledge मतलब what all you are selling and what are the requirements of customers, इसके बारे में if you are educating the employees, I think it will help you to get competitive advantage over others who are operating in the same market. ठीक है. Revenue per employee is an arbitrary measure in my opinion. So training spend is decent. ठीक है. Revenue per employee is मतलब सी रेवेन्यू पर एम्प्लॉय तब काम करेगा when you are calculating this only for the sales team, right? कि because रेवेन्यू कौन ड्राइव कर रहा है? सेल्स टीम इज ड्राइविंग. अब आप when you say total number of employees, do you agree you are including people from admin also, you are including people from HR also, you are including people from finance also? इन सब लोगों का तो कोई रोल है ही नहीं ना in this entire process. These people have absolutely no role. So calculating revenue per employee does not seem like a very smart measure. Revenue per sales employee, per sales team member, that is a better measure. Do you agree?
Yes.
तो वो मतलब it's not, this is what I say at my current workplace. I used to say it earlier also कि यार रेशो निकालना या डेटा निकालना, you might feel that you are a very intelligent person if you have calculated 10 different ratios using chat GPT. But the point is वो डेटा का कोई सेंस भी तो होना चाहिए ना. बीच में somebody came to me and said कि देखो this is one test that we conducted. इसमें स्टूडेंट्स का एवरेज स्कोर 56 या समथिंग आ रहा है आउट ऑफ 100. दैट मीन्स स्टूडेंट्स आर नॉट प्रिपेयर्ड. आई सेड एवरेज तो आप कोई भी चीज का निकाल सकते हो. यू कैन कैलकुलेट द एवरेज ऑफ द वेट ऑफ एन एलिफेंट एंड द वेट ऑफ अ डॉग एंड यू विल अराइव एट अ नंबर. बट व्हाट सेंस डज दैट मेक? तो मेजर्स यूज करो तो सेंसिबल मेजर्स यूज करो. ठीक है. ओके. नाउ, so we discussed the appropriateness of these four measures. Let's now talk about the sufficiency of measures. What do you think? Now, one way that you could, consider as a point of benchmarking is the advertising spend. In this industry, brand strength has become very important. And how do you develop your brand strength? Advertising is one of the ways to make that happen. So advertising spend ka benchmarking will be important, right? Then, यहाँ पे there is training spent on managerial skills that is also not being measured right now. And I think problems with respect to processes, problems with respect to the overall conduct of operations, ये सारा कुछ आपको यहाँ पे include करना पड़ेगा, right? So spending, so basically using that as a starting off point here, how much is the managerial, how much is the spending on development of managerial skills? That will also become an important measure. It will help us to understand here how are you developing the intellectual capital of your team. Okay. And in this industry, because you are working in an industry which directly impacts the body, the physical aspect of your employees, I think not employees, of your customers, you should be very careful about the quality of contact lenses and spectacles and other items that you are sending. So there has to be a measure with respect to quality also when it comes to the benchmarking activity. Do you agree?
Yes.
Now, number of customer returns and you know items sold versus items returned, ये वाला एनालिसिस भी काफी क्रिटिकल हो जाएगा. Because the number of items returned would be an indicator of how faulty the product is, and you will get a better understanding. Do you agree? ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
चलो, एक बार just go through the choice of measures का evaluation. In customer satisfaction, we mentioned ki what is the problem with the current measure, what are the limitations, and we could also bring in some additional measures here. What could these additional measures be? Brand awareness, likelihood of repeat purchase, satisfaction with service speed. Like, Blinkit delivers things in 10 minutes. So, how, and is it fulfilling that particular promise? That also you should evaluate. And ठीक है. Then, training spent on product knowledge, because intellectual capital is a key differentiator. You should also mention what does the training relate to. Is it with respect to newer innovative products? And is the training activity trying to bridge the gap between the knowledge that they currently have and the ideal knowledge with respect to that particular product. Maybe they don't have adequate knowledge, and you need to train them for them to get a better understanding so that they can serve the customers in a better way. Now, talking about revenue per employee is arbitrary because we did discuss this fact कि यार सारे के सारे employees cannot be in the denominator. You should only have sales team employees who are basically directly facing the customers who are making that sale possible. Revenue per employee should be counted for them and not for everyone else, right? Because you will have a lot of non-revenue generating staff, right? Admin team ho gaya, HR team ho gaya. There will be many such different individuals who will be involved, right? So naturally, all of those points do play an important role. Now, this is with respect to the appropriateness of measures. Okay, let me write it here. When the question asks about appropriateness of measures, you should mention whether each of the measures currently calculated is is appropriate for this industry or not. ठीक है. And यहाँ पे where the question asks about sufficiency of measures, you should comment on whether these measures are enough or not, or you need more measures to complete the benchmarking. Okay. Then you should comment on what those measures could be. Okay. So your answer has to be primarily divided into these two parts. Sufficiency alag, appropriateness alag. Pehle we spoke about appropriateness. Then we are speaking about whether these measures are enough, and if they are not enough, what other measures can you think about? We spoke about managerial skills, we spoke about advertising spend, and we spoke about product quality measures. ठीक है? एक बार quickly go through this. See, APM that way is different as compared to say an SBR. अभी SBR में आप क्या करेंगे? In SBR, you would read the provision, then you would apply the provisions to this case. You were very clear कि यार कौन सा accounting standard involved है यहाँ पर, and what calculations are you supposed to do. It was a very direct way of dealing with things. यहाँ पे in APM, it's okay even if you don't remember the concepts from the chapters line by line. That's fine. What is important is, are you able to make sense of the data given in the question, and are you able to frame your answer accordingly? वो आपके लिए बहुत important है. ठीक है. ठीक है।
Yes, sir. Done reading.
चलो, now let's look at the second part, which is on current process। ठीक है। The current process for ordering the spectacles and contact lenses involves the optician asking an administrator to place the order with the supplier. There are many suppliers of these products, a situation which has resulted from different opticians over the years having used different supplying companies. The goods are then delivered to Morlich. An administrator in Morlich is then required to inspect the quality of spectacles which have been received and to count that the number of pairs of contact lenses which have been received is correct. The customer is then notified by Morlich that their goods have arrived. It often takes a few days for the customer to be notified, as there are usually many goods delivered from each supplier, and supplies can arrive on any day of the week, often on a day when there is only one administrator. Given the high standards of production which Morlik suppliers work to, there are usually no returns or damaged goods. However, as it takes some time for Morlik to notify customers of the arrival of their goods, of their order, goods frequently go missing. Morlik has to pay for the reorder of these goods if administrators have originally recorded them as successfully received. After notification, customers are then required to check the goods on Morlik's premises to confirm that they are happy with the quality. It is very rare, given the high standards of production alluded to earlier, for customers to reject the goods on the basis of this quality. अच्छा, so far if you have noticed, question में requirement आया ही नहीं है ना। They have told you full story, but अभी तक requirement नहीं आया है। That has come in the last para. The CEO believes that Morlik's current process may be inefficient in the present environment and would like you to assess how Morlik could improve the current process of ordering and receiving goods by using business process re-engineering। आपको क्या करना है? What is the main requirement in the question? Assess how Morley could improve the current process of ordering and receiving goods by using business process re-engineering। ठीक है, you have to talk about business process re-engineering and how that can help you to improve the process of ordering and receiving goods। ठीक है, so now think about it। First of all, tell me what exactly is business process re-engineering?
Then it's simply the change in the business process, a fundamental change in the business process.
So, pura head to toe you are changing, right? You are changing the entire process head to toe. Is it like revisiting? I mean, पूरा आप नए से करने वाले हो, right? Is it incremental improvement or is it like a dramatic fundamental change? क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पर? It's not smaller changes introduced over a period of time कि धीरे धीरे change करेंगे। When I'm talking about BPR, BPR is like a complete overhaul. BPR is like a makeover। ठीक है। Now let's talk about the situation here। यहाँ पे when you are talking about BPR, आपको पहले क्या करना पड़ेगा? See, the BPR that they want you to do is not for, मतलब randomness नहीं है उनके क्वेश्चन में। They are very clear that the process of receiving goods, उसके बारे में they want you to make a, they want you to suggest a change in the way receipt of goods is happening right now, and what changes would you recommend, what overhaul of process would you ask the customers to do if you want to change the way these items, मतलब आप क्या ऐसा fundamental change लाएंगे in the business, in the delivery process, in the order receiving activity, वो क्या redesign होगा, that say for example you will have, they have said कि यार in a day goods are also delivered when the administrator is not there, तो maybe you will have to specify delivery time windows कि यार इतने से इतने टाइम में ही डिलीवर करना पड़ेगा आपको, राइट? और you will have to make sure that there are more administrative support people available for doing this job, right? So all of these items, they will play a very important role in your business process re-engineering। कि process का पहले issue identify करो, वंस यू आइडेंटिफाई द इशू इन अ पर्टिकुलर प्रोसेस, पहले ये बताओ कि करंटली क्या चल रहा है। उसके बाद यू हैव टू से कि ओके दिस इज व्हाट इज हैपनिंग राइट नाउ, एंड दीज आर सम ऑफ द फंडामेंटल थ्री मतलब 180 डिग्री चेंज that we are suggesting, so that it will help to improve the delivery mechanism, it will help to improve the uh, receipt of goods, वो processing वगैरह जो है orders का, all of that will happen correctly। ठीक है, so this is the final part that you should be aiming at। Let's talk about the processes one by one। ठीक है, यहाँ पे आइए। Let's go item by item। First of all, in 2 to 3 lines, we'll have to explain what is BPR। ठीक है, और let's start with this para। इसमें कुछ प्रॉब्लम है। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, देर आर मेनी सप्लायर्स ऑफ दिस प्रोडक्ट्स, राइट। बहुत सारे सप्लायर्स है, तो देयर कुड बी अ प्रॉब्लम कि यार हर एक का क्वालिटी कुड बी स्लाइटली डिफरेंट। करेक्ट। देन what other so what is happening right now, there are many suppliers. Two, when number of suppliers is too large, it can lead to a lot of coordination issues, quality difference आएगा। So what would be best to reduce the number of suppliers? ठीक है, get a list of approved suppliers, only work with them। It will also be beneficial for the staff placing an order। Right now, how is the order getting placed? क्या हो रहा है? An administrator who is placing the order, optician is requesting the administrator to place the order। So यहाँ पे there is a communication, I wouldn't say communication lapse, but there is a possibility of delay in communication। ये ऑप्टिशियन उसको बोलेगा, फिर वो जाके ऑर्डर प्लेस करेगा, उसमें कुछ टाइम वेस्ट होगा आपका। करेक्ट। सो व्हेन दैट पर्टिकुलर टाइम इज वेस्टेड, देन व्हाट हैपेंस एज एन आउटकम ऑफ दैट?
Order might not get reached.
Pipeline will go up. So ideally, the opticians could place the order on their own systems with instead of talking to an administrator, right? Then Morlich could also re-engineer the current process by having more controls with respect to delivery dates and timelines। Right now, they are happening on any day, multiple times in a day, and you know that is creating a lot of confusion। Customers को effective communication नहीं जा रहा है। So you could probably set up a specific time for all deliveries and ensure that all customers are contacted by 3 p.m. on the same day। ठीक है। Morlik could ensure extra admin support if necessary, right? So that is one aspect that you could do। What else? Yes, Ishan.
Sir, Morlich could if deliver the orders to the customer instead of customer commit to the Morlich. It would like increase the customer satisfaction. Like the deliveries will be noted and keep tracked.
Mm-hmm. Okay. If the opticians are directly placing the order with this with a small group of suppliers, ठीक है, uh, because अभी number of suppliers is, or rather the suppliers are pre-approved, there is a pre-approved list of suppliers, the time that is spent in checking will be reduced, correct? And the possibility of losing goods will also be fairly reduced। Why? Because एक तो you have specified a time of delivery and a day of delivery, इसी डेट पे आपको करना है। ठीक है। Now this is responsible for uh, right now, because customers के orders are getting delayed or goods are getting lost, customer satisfaction score is low। If you change this part of the process, I think it would a give customer satisfaction plus आपका profit margin भी improve होगा। Why will profit margin improve? Because वो return cost and all of that, that will get eliminated। Then this basically requires a culture shift also for the company, है ना? It's not something that you are doing on, मतलब, whenever we talk about business process re-engineering, it is uh, indicative of the fact that the business as a whole, head to toe, needs to undergo a change. So, see, organizations, even whenever any change is introduced, the people in the company will definitely resist that particular change. So you will have to familiarize them with that. You will have to get them on board. Ki dekho, this is what is going to happen. This is the change, that we have introduced, and you will have to get their buy-in because resistance to change is very common. So एक वो cultural resistance वाला issue भी होगा. But then naturally that is where your managerial skills will come into play. ठीक है? चलो, let's understand what is BPR, and I'll make you read the answer now. I have put together all the pointers. You have to go through the pointers and sentences I would want you to frame. ठीक है? Please start reading. Whenever you want to scroll, tell me.
Can you please scroll down? Can you please scroll?
इन दीज आंसर्स, सी, हाउ, आप पढ़ लो, फिर बताता हूं मैं मार्क्स एलोकेशन का. ठीक है।
Yes.
Okay. Now, for explaining each point, there is one mark, application to the company's process and pointing out the issue, suggesting the improvement. So, पहले current part describe करो, follow that up with what redesign in terms of BPR can you suggest? And when you are redesigning BPR, मतलब उस angle से जब आप कर रहे हो, just make sure that it has to be a complete change and not something localized. मतलब small incremental changes are not acceptable. These have to be complete change to the way things are working, so that in this manner तभी वो जाके बीपीआर आपका justify होगा। ठीक है। So that is the BPR impact on structure and how each of those aspects has to be dealt with. The first couple of answers, my focus will be on the कंटेंट कि लिखना क्या है। आफ्टर दैट वील स्पेंड टाइम ऑन हाउ द आंसर हैज टू बी प्रेजेंटेड एंड हाउ विल यू स्कोर प्रोफेशनल मार्क्स। वर्क्स फॉर यू?
Yes.
ठीक है। कूल। चलो, आई हैव टू रश। एनी क्वेरीज दैट यू हैव लेट मी नो ऑन व्हाट्सएप। ओके, चलो बाय।